just not a lot of times in life where we touch true meaning. Like we're running for meaning every single day, but music is like, it's just such a beautiful art form that you just touch it, you know. Is music the antidote to meaninglessness? And I loved this part. So we listened to the whole interview. It's about 3 hours long.
4 hours.
4 hours long. It
Hours.
was a long haul.
Yeah.
But you know, and some topics I enjoyed more than others. I love this topic. This topic was just beautiful for me. So a bit of context about it before I kind of open it up for conversation. Jordan Peterson just beautifully explains that music is an analog to the structure of the world itself. Now that line to me is beautiful. So just again, an analog to the structure of the world itself. Now at first I was like, what the heck does that mean? But when you really think about it, it's beautiful. And he describes music as multiple patterns layered on top of each other in a harmonious manner. And he's very passionate when he talks about that. And it's so true. I'd never thought of music in that way.
Because I think he almost starts crying in that part, doesn't he?
He does. He cries at one point. And
or tearing up, I should say. It's not like he was,
Yeah, not full on, you know.
Right.
It was just, he was just very emotional.
Yeah, very emotional. Yeah.
And it was, I just love that part. And he said, in this way, so again, the multiple patterns layered on top of each other in a harmonious manner. He said, in this way, music mirrors the world, which is also made up of patterns. And he describes that people get lifted out of the normality of their existence while witnessing a beautiful music performance. And he says, in that moment, you connect with genuine meaning. Now, he was talking here about nihilists, you know, and how music is just because it's the only artistic form that it's abstract. It's not representing anything. And what he means by that is like a painting, you know, is like, here's a painting of a, you know, I don't know, a beautiful church or something like that. So it represents the church. But music is the only art form that kind of is abstract and it doesn't represent anything in itself, you know. And when Rogan and him have a really good conversation here, they talk about, you know, will just represent emotions and what people are feeling when they're writing the music, which it will. But again, Peterson's main point here is that it's an artistic form that all artistic forms strive to be, because it is abstract and it's meaning in itself. So I really love this part of the interview because I've always loved music. It energizes me and makes me really, you know, feel that I'm in touch with meaning. You know, people around Hobart would probably think I'm a nut job because I drive around and I just sing. I'm singing songs all the time. You know, I'd have some weird facial expressions. People, you know, when I drive past would be like, what are you doing? Like, but I love it. It's definitely a source that if I'm having a rough morning, just singing and really like getting in touch with that music just fills me with energy. Like, and I go to that next part. And I think that'd be true for so many people. It is just a beautiful art form. So my question to Amanda, a really easy one, is do you think that music is one possible answer to solving most of the world's problems because it does transcend form? So there you go. Just
there you go. That's it. Yes. That's my answer. No.
Okay, damn. I should have opened that up more.
Like cut. End of show. No. Well, as far as solving problems, I don't know. But what I do know is if you think that bringing people together can solve all the world's problems, then yes, I believe that music could solve problems. And I guess I'd have to break the music into two different categories, though, because I think there's music that is made simply for commercial reasons and to make money. You know, there's certain artists that they're very commercial and they're just putting out hits that they know are going to get noticed. And that's fine. I don't necessarily think those are the type that are going to change the world. Although now that I say that out loud, they do offer, even those though, they do offer people a chance to play a sense, like we talked about, and we don't mean play like but play like little kids or something, but kind of where it lets you act like a little kid for a while or just forget all your responsibilities for a little while. So maybe even that kind of music could change the world. Now that I'm thinking about it, at first I was going to say no, it wouldn't, but maybe it would because it offers that opportunity. But the other kind of music, I think, is the music that is made by people because they have no other choice but to make it. Like if they are not expressing themselves through their music, they will basically go insane.
Yeah.
You know, because that's their soul. Like basically their soul is going to be sucked out of them if they don't somehow communicate in that way and bring that forward, bring that music forward into the world. And so those are the ones I think really do bring people together too, because like that's one of the reasons I absolutely love going to concerts. It's one of my favorite things because you get all these people in the same room that if you were, because of course I'm mostly into like heavy metal, new metal, you know, hard music.
She might look sweet and innocent, but she's not.
But yeah, that's just a facade. I don't know. I don't know where this person came from, but but yeah, so you know, these people, if I pass them on the street, like these people that are all tattooed up and pierced up and maybe look kind of rough and maybe people that would be a little intimidating on the street, maybe, you know, yeah, we would never talk to each other or interact with each other. But in that setting, you're all there for the same reason. You have something in common. And there is a sense of camaraderie, I think, that you just feel when we're standing next to someone who's screaming out the words to your favorite artist and you're sitting there screaming them out too. There's just something to that.
Yes.
So that was a long-winded way of saying, yes, I think music can bring people together.
Well said.
Because there's nothing else that can do that.
No.
I guess there's certain movies where you have like, but even that, I don't think does as much because even thinking about movies, so I'm thinking about people that are like super fans of movies, like say Star Wars is the first one that comes to mind, where you have a lot of like-minded people that are getting together because they all love Star Wars, but they all love different aspects of it. So even when in that, you could have two people that like one loves Darth Vader and one loves Luke Skywalker. And so, you know, there could even be some divide even within that group where when you're, and I guess you could have that with music too, but generally speaking, if you love some song or some group and someone else does too, I mean, you know, you're instantly bonded. I think.
Yeah.
And there's not really anything else like that. Can you think of anything else that can bond people like that? Yeah.
No. Well, there's a lot you said there that's really interesting. So I want to hit on a couple of the points.
Okay.
So in terms of movies, so I can think of distinct moments, and I know everyone would have felt this, distinct moments where I'd watched a movie and I just felt so excited and I was just pumped, and it just was a feeling that I only get rarely in movies. One of them, and it's because I'm a nerd, was the first Avengers movie. Oh man, I was so G'd up for that. And it was just so good. Like it just exceeded all my expectations. Yeah. And I loved it. I was like, yes. And obviously the world loved it and it's done incredibly well as a franchise.
And I've never seen it, so.
I know, I can't believe it.
Here we go again.
You're going to have to add that to the list.
The people who haven't watched the show know that I have not watched any movies.
No, but it's okay. You know, it's okay. It's, like there's a lot of movies out there.
I know.
You know, there's a lot of content to consume. But I think, to your point, like, I think music, it's more interactive, right? Because I think in the cinema, right, watching Avengers, I was really G'd up. But, like, we're in a movie, and I can't, you know, like, I guess if I was at home on the couch, I could be like, yeah, this is such an awesome scene and get excited with people. But, I mean, I think there's almost an unwritten rule with movies, which is like, shut up and just watch the movie, you know? Like, you're not interacting. But I just think about a music concert. You know, to your point about, you know, can it bring people together to solve the world's problems? Like, that's the part that I was thinking about when I asked that question, because it does override a lot of the other divides that we create, you know, women, religiosity, you know, different classes of people, different tastes in other areas. It supersedes all that.
Yeah, it does.
You know, and you're just there enjoying the music as a collective. And you know, another thing too is you're all singing at the top of your lungs, because usually at a concert, for example,
Yeah.
it's so goddamn loud, you know, and you can be goofy. Like,
Right.
there's no one sitting next to you, say if you're at a Tool concert or something, and you're screaming at the top of your lungs. No one coming over saying, you know, oh, can you please not sing? Like, you know, you can be a
Right.
bad singer. You can dance like an
Right.
idiot.
Yeah.
You just feel the music how you want to feel it. The person next to you will as well, and you just immerse yourself in it. And it does. I think that's the part that he's hit on so well. Is it does transcend. It does transcend the normality of normal life and give meaning to you for that time.
Yeah.
You're feeling the music with others, so you feel connected to others, probably in ways that you haven't before. And you know, it's nice to feel meaning. I think that's why he tears up, because there's just not a lot of times in life where we touch true meaning. Like, we're running for meaning every single day, but music is like, it's just such a beautiful art form that you just touch it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and I think it's also the other thing I just was thinking is what makes it different from, say, a movie is that, and again, this is not true of all music, but the music I would think of as moving me, you are hearing and seeing a performance from the people who created it. Like, the people who created the music are the ones who are bringing it to you, where in a movie that's different, because you got a writer, you got a producer, you got a director, you got actors, like you got all these different levels. Like, the actor did not create that character. So that is not the same. It's not the same level of connection where you have a direct connection with these people that put their heart and soul into creating this. And I think maybe that's really why music touches people in such a different way than anything else, because it's a direct connection to someone else. And especially when it's someone that you can relate to, or not even if you can't even relate to them, but you can just really appreciate the talent. And it's not even talent so much, but it's really just a gift of some, I don't know what the right word is. It's more than talent. You know what I'm trying to say? Can you think of a better way to say it?
But I think you not having words for it probably is the best example of what it is, right? Because
that's true. Because
it's beyond words. Like, that's the whole thing. It's
beyond word, yeah. Because it's coming through them. It's not even probably them. It's like this energy.
Yeah.
That's coming through them.
I think that's why people loved Freddie Mercury so much.
Yeah, true.
You know,
well, he probably channeled it better than maybe anybody.
He did. It was like he loved music. He was so passionate, and there'll be no one like him on this planet ever again, in my opinion. He's
just the chances that he took and the chances he pushed other people to take.
Yeah, and that's why this music still, after all this time, all these years after he's dead, you know, people can still connect with it, because it's just, you know, it is a gift that he's given to us through music, and it's magical. And that's the thing. Like, I asked one of our guests, Melina, this question, and you know, again, it was a really difficult question, so she couldn't answer it, but was around, you know, there's a feeling that I get sometimes with music. Like, there's one album, Anima by Tom York, and I love that album. I don't know what it is. It just resonates with me, and I love listening to it. It just connects with me, and I feel, I don't know, it's hard to, again, it's beyond words. Like, I just feel like I'm connecting with something, and it transcends everything else. And, you know, I said to Melina, I was like, what causes that to happen? I think she's like, I don't know.
She's like, what the hell? I don't know.
Think, yeah, no one really has that answer. I'm really unfair to guess. I'm like, you will answer the biggest questions ever. But that's the thing. I mean, what a beautiful form, you know, where it basically can make people feel that way.
Right.
So I've got another thing, kind of.
Well, sorry, there's one other thing that I was going to also anecdote, I guess, and I don't know, they probably don't do this in Australia. I don't know. But here, like, anytime they play like Journey, Don't Stop Believing.
Oh, yeah.
They played at all kinds of sporting events. Everybody knows that song.
Oh, yeah, that's a good song.
It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody knows it. And so that's another thing. There's nothing else like that, where every single person, young, old, everywhere in between. They know that, and they know Sweet Caroline.
Yes, Sweet Caroline. Yeah.
I mean, that's so awesome to me, that you can have something that everybody knows.
Yeah, there are just certain songs
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, Journey is a good one. I was singing that in the kitchen the other day. I was murdering that song in the worst possible way, but I didn't care. I was like, I just want to sing this song. It's such a good song.
But
now,
anyways,
because when I was preparing for this segment, I went pretty deep, man, as I usually do. So I've got a question here, and I want to get your thoughts on it. There is 3 to 4% of the world's population that have something called music anhedonia.
Okay.
Which means they can't enjoy music.
Okay.
So, because I was thinking, right, if this can if this is, what was my question again? It was, is it the antidote to meaninglessness? What about that 3 to 4% of people that can't enjoy music? How do they find meaning?
Well, and I wonder, can they still? I'd be curious to know if they could still feel the rhythm. Or like the bass.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was interesting, like reading up on it, say for deaf people. Yeah,
because that's what I'm thinking of. So I mean, that's completely different, I guess.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Like I like the fact again, and that's that inclusivity, is that even deaf people can feel the vibrations and enjoy it and connect with the music. But I just thought, what an interesting thing, because I just typed into Google, are there people that can't enjoy music, kind of thing? And there is a condition where people can't. But I mean, I guess they would find their meaning elsewhere, maybe through other art forms.
Yeah, or could they find it? I'm doubtful. I'm just wondering if they could find it by like appreciating that somebody else is appreciating the music, but probably not.
Maybe, yeah.
That might be a bit of a stretch.
It was a question. I thought, I don't have an answer. I didn't think you would either, because I don't know. But it's a big one. But again, it's, I went pretty deep, and I was curious because I thought, wow, I can't believe there's 3 to 4% of the world's population, those poor buggers that cannot enjoy music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got another part that I want to ask you about. So again, going back to Peterson talking about music, he describes it as something that puts you on the border between chaos and order, and that good music is predictable but has a level of unpredictability. So what this made me think of is when I was studying classics at university many years ago, and my lecturer talking about the difference between the Roman gods Apollo and Dionysus. And so these were both gods of music and dance, but Apollo represented rational thinking and order, and Dionysus represented irrationality and chaos. So I was always curious about that. I thought, we've got 2 gods that kind of represent that. But I'm just wondering, Amanda, why do you think human beings need both order and chaos?
So I will say, no, I will be honest here and know that I had this question ahead of time, or else I don't think I'd be able to give an answer so quickly. But no, I think it's because I think we need order. Well, I think I shouldn't say all. The majority of people probably prefer some kind of order, just so that we have some feeling of safety and security. And if you're going back to, I even have my Maslow today. So if you're going back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you need to feel safe. And so I think that's why we need order, generally speaking. I also think we need order just to live in society and to be able to interact with other people and whatever and get things done. So I think the reason we need order is pretty obvious. But I think the reason that we need, what was it? Not chaos. What did you say it was? Oh yeah, chaos.
Order and chaos.
Yeah, chaos. I think the reason we need chaos is because chaos is what makes us grow as people. Because when everything's completely in order and you're just following things along exactly how they're supposed to be, you're not growing at all. You're not being stretched. You're not being challenged or anything. You're just going through the motions of life. You're settling, I guess, to use our wording, where when you don't settle, that's when you're reaching into the chaos. But you don't want to get too far into the chaos either, because you could get lost in the chaos. I think you get lost in order because your brain just shuts off and you're just doing things by routine. And obviously you can get lost in chaos because you can get so overwhelmed and so lost in that you can get so lost in your own world too, where you don't see what's going on with anything else. So I think it's just finding that happy medium between the two. But yeah, I think that's why we need it, is to continue to grow. And I'll break out a reference from one of our episodes. I don't remember which episode it was, so I don't know if I'll be able to link it. Maybe you can help me remember. But we were talking about charging the battery.
Yes.
Like the collective consciousness. So the collective consciousness is like this, I don't know, this idea that all of us are hooked into this collective consciousness, that some energy field that we all kind of feed off of. And we were talking one time about how maybe the reason we're here is to grow, because when we grow, we're feeding that collective consciousness. So that's what I would think the chaos helps feed the collective consciousness, maybe.
That's good. I like that. That's an awesome thread. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else will follow that thread. So if
some people might be like, these two are nuts.
I don't want to go explain that whole thread again, but you know what I'm talking about.
I like how you explain that though. That's why we need chaos. You're right, because if we just had order all the time and we just lived our little lives, just really prescribed lives, nothing changes, we wouldn't grow. Because I think that's it. I mean, chaos feels uncomfortable.
Of course.
I was saying to Amanda before the podcast, I've had a little bit of chaos this week, and I don't like it because I do like my order. But certainly, I'm going to grow from this, because if I look at the last however many years of my life, the times of chaos are what really have carved out big changes in my life. So I like that. That sounds good. And
good.
Well done.
Thank you. I'll take a bow.
From a music perspective as well, so because Peterson was talking about, in your music you want some level of predictability, because when it's all chaos, chaotic, you can't follow it. You're just kind of getting confused. But you don't want something that's just so boring. Like, you want something that has a bit of spice to it. Mm-hmm. So that's like life, actually, isn't it? That's obviously where he's talking about the analog to life. You don't want a boring life. But you do want something that's not too erratic. I can remember two bands I listened to. Okay. And I did not like them. This was when I was an undergrad at uni, and I had a friend who I think he just sought out bands that were just really just crazy. So anyways, one's called Eins to Sender No Button from Germany. Okay. The other one has a terrible name, but it's the name of the band nonetheless. It's Throbbing Gristle.
Throbbing Gristle, okay.
But just listen to some of their music. That's too chaotic for me. Yes. I can't enjoy it. It's
I know
just
what you're talking
far too much on that border of chaos. And look, hey, I'm pretty sure both bands are still kicking about, and they've got fans. And maybe it appeals to those fans. But again, I just think the reason those two bands for me aren't mainstream, or at least I can't enjoy them, is they're too much on that chaos. So again, as you said, I think you need to fall on that border. If you can get that right, that's what makes good music, whether it's commercial or somebody's put a lot of energy into it. So look, that's all I needed to ask you, Amanda, about that topic. You answered very well. So thank you. You could.